What we've got here is failure to communicate.
Art 101 with Mr. Burgher.
Scholars, welcome back to another episode of Art 101 with me, Mr. Burgher. I'm a professional artist and a master educator attempting to provide you with the best in art historical content. If you like the video, please take the time, interact with it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
God, just have a good time. Just relax, have a good time.
So it's been a little while, folks. I've been doing some Art 101 with Mr. Burgher videos for a few years now. I started back in November of 2007. I've learned a lot, gotten a lot better. You go back and look at that first Piero Manzoni video, man, that sucker is rough. Check down below if you want to see it. It'll be down in the description. But what I want to do today is I want to go back and revisit my friend Piero Manzoni and make sure that it's done right and give him a little polish on the old Art 101 with Mr. Video library. So, without further ado, let me get into it with Piero Manzoni. Piero Manzoni's main interest was to shock the viewer of any of his artworks. This was usually done with his somewhat vulgar sense of humor. He would begin his career with silhouettes of everyday objects printed onto canvases. Quickly in his career, he would evolve into his Achrome series. These were white canvases covered with rough gesso, glue, and white clay. Very minimalist, very thought-provoking works of art. No one had ever really done anything quite like this before. Some of his other odd sorts of works would include line drawings placed onto cardboard tubes that were then sealed, boiled eggs that were marked with his thumbprint, and pedestals that magically transformed any individual standing on this pedestal into a work of art themselves.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
Manzoni had a very interesting philosophy when it came to artwork. By definition, anything that an artist made was art. Anything that an artist signed was art. He would continue on with things like artist's breath, where he would fill balloons with his own breath and thus making them works of art, as well as a series of signed individuals starting in 1961 that became his living sculptures, individuals that were literally signed and then sat in a gallery space as works of art. It is said that during that time he was trying to purchase a corpse, but fortunately, maybe unfortunately, whatever, however you look at it, it didn't happen. In May of 1961, he would reach the peak of this conceptual art with Merde di Artista, a series of 90 cans, each filled with 30 grams of his own excrement. These works were sold at the same price as gold in 1961. And in an interesting twist, the artwork would appreciate faster than gold itself. So, several years ago, one of these works would have sold. Now, had the individual bought the work of art, 30 grams of 24-karat gold, both in 1961, they would have made $600 more on the work of art than had they bought the gold itself, with the work selling at $61,000. He was making commentary on what art was, as well as the power of art. He believed that the art market will support anything as long as it's signed. And because his artwork was a little bit obscure, he would create a system of identifying his artwork through certificates of authenticity that allowed individuals that were buying his artworks to have confidence that they were buying legitimate works of art from him as the artist. At the time of his death, he was planning a series called Artist's Blood, where he would package and sell containers of his own blood. However, he had died of a heart attack in his studio just before his 30th birthday. Piero Manzoni would go on to really be an interesting character in art. But when it comes to conceptual art, when it comes to artists that were generating ideas, when it came to what art was and what is or is not allowed in the art world, we really have to look at Manzoni's example. And although a little bit odd, his ideas were absolutely brilliant.
I tell you, friends, it only took 15 years to go back and revisit Piero Manzoni and redo that. And there's a couple more that I want to redo and polish up before the year's out. So I will be revisiting some content, but I appreciate you for the interactions, watching the video to the completion, and being a follower of the channel. I really appreciate it. We'll see you next time. You have a good day.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 35, 45 minutes.